Team, so just starting on another landscape project or paving project here. So I'll reverse the camera and show you what we're up to. So here we go. We're going to be digging this little area out with the kanga. There's about 50 square meters. This will be uni-pave pavers, 60 mil, so we can drive on it. So it's sort of like a parking bay, backing bay kind of thing. And we'll keep you posted on progress throughout the project. Hey everybody, we're back with an update on the project. I'll just turn the camera around now. Here we go. So Andrew here is cutting the old concrete haunching off the mowing edge so that the new paving can butt hard into that. And we've dug out most of this area, around about 100 to 150 millimeters deep down to the clay, the hard base, or the hard subsoil. Just a bit more cleaning out to do. Been using their little kanga loader there and dumping the soil just over there, ready for another project when the weather dries up. You can see all this beautiful dust here. And so next step is to clean this out and then get on with putting in the base metal, which you can see over here on the truck, ready to dump in there. We'll spread that out with the kanga. And then we will compact that and then get on and then level it and get on with laying the paving. So we'll be back with another update very soon. Okay, so we're back on the project and we are tipping the first bit of base metal. So it's all cleaned out down to the clay, and then once this base metal's in, we'll spread it out with the kanga loader and then obviously use the shovels to get it in all around the edges, and after that it will be compacted. Okay team, we're back on site and we've just spread a lot of the metal with the guys and the kanga, and the rain has really started to set in, so it's going to make things very difficult, but thankfully we got all the dig out done just before the rain set in, which is fantastic timing, because we would not have been able to get that dig out done with this rain. It was already very slippery and greasy on that clay surface. But anyway, there's all the topsoil over there. That'll be going on to another project come the summertime, further down the section. So the goal is to get all this GAP 20, GAP 20 metal and spread it right across this base, and that binds into the base and it compacts really well. And then we'll put a layer of GAP 7 or GAP 7, which is quarry dust fines or quarry fines, over the top of that, and that'll really bind in, and we can level that and then put a little bit of paving sand over and then start the laying process. So this is going to create a really great baking area and another car park area. It gets pretty congested on this property when there's visitors, so it's going to be fantastic. So we're back on the paving project. All the sand has been spread out. We're now screeding out the sand, getting it ready for laying the paving. So it's all been compacted as well, so that gives you a good look at it there. You can see some of the tools you need: plate compactor, the level, the straight edge here for screeding, and a barrow or two. There you go, so we'll be back with another update soon. Team, so we're back on the paving project and you can see lots of the screeding of the sand has been done, and then another round of the plate compactor. So all the metal was compacted first, the sand was spread out roughly, and then compacted and then screeded and then compacted again. So now at the second stage of screeding and knocking out all the high spots, filling in all the low spots, and as the installer pulls the excess sand away, he also scoops it up with the square mouth shovel and shifts it to areas where it's needed. So it's a several stage process, and scraping out any patches that are too high. Okay, we're back on site and here comes the tractor delivery bringing the pavers. We've got, I think, 28 pallets for this project. This is the front piece, so we're going to bring a few in here. The truck's parked over there next door, and here we go. So with the paver delivery, it's important to obviously try and get all the pavers stacked close to where you're going to be working. Some of these are going around the back of the job, and then we'll stack the rest really close here to minimise transportation waste for the installer. And then we've got lots more going around the back as well. So the next load is coming up now. Then we've got 18 pallets on this load, and then another 10 this afternoon. And then that's all prepped and ready to lay, that one there, so we'll hit its final screed. Probably just a little tidy up this morning before the installers start laying that one. So here comes the next pallet right now. Hey team, so we're back on this job with an update. I will reverse the camera. So the laying has begun here. This is the herringbone pattern at a 45-degree angle to the traffic, which is a really strong pattern to use for driveway traffic or vehicle traffic. So that's our 60mm Unipave in the ironstone colour. And away we go. This will be laid in the next couple of hours, and then all the cutting will be done last. So here we go here with our fantastic installer Lungy going for it. There's the tractor bringing up more loads of product, pallets of pavers. So you can see that going down. So team, now we're working out cuts along this edge of the paving here, and the installers always save up any chipped pavers for the cuts so that you end up with minimal wastage. So you can see how using a crayon here.
The other option is measuring.
Yep.
But it's slower.
Yep.
It's not a way it can be done. But I find always got a little bit of break anyway. So
Yep.
If you bang on with the measurement, you find it
Too tight, yep. So you can see he's makes a cross on the bit that's not going to be used. And just eyeing these up. And it takes a lot of practice, but he was just saying if you're doing this DIY for the first time, doing a DIY job, you can measure them if you want to be real accurate, or else try this method, but you might end up wasting a few pavers as you practice. And next video will show you the cutting on the saw. And then on this one, he's using the same paver for 2 cuts. Fantastic. So here we are cutting. So obviously it takes pace to take a lot of care on these. These saws are really dangerous, and paste to take it slowly, and that one is a wet blade using lots of water, which reduces the dust or stops the dust. Right, let's go and see how these are laid. Team back with another update. More cuts going in along the bottom edge of this new driveway slash parking area. And then more paving being installed in the body of the area. So this cut's looking fantastic. And this area is really taking shape now. You can see the string line here in the middle. Paste to do that every now and again, and every so many meters, to just check that the paving's not creeping as you lay it. Make sure that it's all staying straight and in line. And you can see all these cuts being done along here too. So Lungy's running to a straight edge there, so he's marked all these and cut them, and tomorrow we'll show you in another video on how to do the border, the pencil border, and that will be laid on concrete to provide a solid edge restraint for the paving to stop it moving anywhere and to finish off the job. Oh yep, numbering the cuts. Yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice. So here we are, back on the job. Lungy was just saying to me he hopes they fit for the video, but look at that, perfection. So obviously he's had 20 years or more of experience, so makes it look easy. But with a bit of practice, and you could even use a straight edge across the top of the paver, but always using a crayon, because obviously the crayon still shows up when they're on the wet saw. There we go, looking fantastic. That's it. Alright, on to the next stage. So I'll show you up here where these recent cuts have gone in. You can see up this edge as well, lots of great cuts there. So this is the finishing touches once you start doing all the cuts. Still got this edge to do along here, and we'll come back and show you in another video how to do that haunching along that edge as well. So great progress so far on this driveway paving job. Here's another update on the project. You can see some awesome progress over the last couple of hours. Lots of the paving laid, lots of the cuts done along the edges as well. You can see there, cutting it all in, so it's looking amazing. This is Unipave, 60 mils thick, in our iron stone colour, which is a mid-grey, and we're going to have an ash colour border, pencil border around the outside. So ironstone is a great colour for a driveway. We have one colour darker as well, which is called iron sand, sort of like a charcoal colour. So obviously shows less tyre marks and oil stains and things like that. But there's a great one for sort of a mid-grey. And on this project we've already used this colour around on the patios around the back, so that's why we wanted to keep the same colour across the project. You see Andrew here just cranking them in. Great progress, making it look so easy. The secret is all in the prep work. That's a huge part of the project, getting that prep work absolutely mint, and then once you start laying, it flies down. So this pattern is herringbone. The herringbone pattern, the paver is Unipave 230 by 230 long by 115 wide by 60 millimeters thick. It'll handle any heavy traffic. Great for driveways and parking areas. And I love this project because it shows how paving looks versus plain concrete, which is pretty average, and also versus tar seal as well. Paving is next level in terms of style and class and durability. Looking good, guys. Hey team, so just another important update and a bit of info for you on this project is that on all of our products we use these core flute sheets in between every layer. I think we're the only paving manufacturer that does that we know of, and it just reduces damage and scratching and things like that to make sure your pavers arrive and your bricks, if you're using Premier brick for your project, to keep it all in pristine condition. And a lot of this core flute can be recycled, so we ask the installers to stack it up on the pallets, and we take the pallets back and the core flute for recycling, to do our bit for the planet. So there you go, it's another great reason to be using Premier pavers for your paving projects. Alright, we're back on the job and Andrew is getting a mix ready to start doing the concrete haunching. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This is an important part of the process. And then once we've mixed this up, we'll head round to where the paving area is. So just getting everything ready now. Rinsing out the barrow. Putting some water in the mixer. And away we go.
5 to 6, yeah.
Okay, so we're going 5 to 6 shovels of builder's mix. So now he's putting in about half a bag of 20 kg cement. So that is just grey Portland cement. So there's 10 kgs of cement in there now. And we're putting in another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shovels of builder's mix. So builder's mix is just a mixture of sand and aggregates. And now we're going to add some water. So in total in there now we've got 10 shovels of the builder's mix and 10 kgs of cement, and we just add water slowly. What sort of consistency are we looking for, Andrew, in the mix?
Normally it's got to be quite reasonably wet.
Yep.
But, wet enough so that it actually binds the bottom of the paving. But again, you get it too wet and it's too sloppy, so something like that's pretty consistent.
It's looking good. So if you're just doing a hand mix, you can just do five shovels of builder's mix and 1 shovel of cement. But of course this drum mix is nice and big, so it can take 10 shovels and then off we go. Andrew's just explaining that this is what you want, that it's sticking nicely to the bottom of each paver. So here we go now, we're putting it in. So obviously there's a little trench dug along the side there, as you can see. So now we're creating the edge restraint for the paving so that the paving area doesn't creep or move in the future. And so once this is all in and cured, then we can drive on the new paving area. So you can see the process there, getting that in. So it's kind of creating a concrete curb down below the paving, and you set it up a little bit proud so that you can then tap the edge paving in. So for the border we're using the same size paver, but we're using it in the ash colour. So it's a bit wet today, but you can see the body of this job is in our ironstone colour, which is a mid-grey, and then the edge is going to be in the ash colour. You can already see an old existing ash edge here, which was the old garden edge. It's pretty wet and damp today, so it's hard to see. But back to the haunching, and then we'll show how to tap the pavers in. So you can see how Langy is moving the concrete along there, preparing a bed ready to start tapping the edge pavers in. So on this job, looks like one barrow of concrete has given us about maybe 3 or 4 meters, lineal meters of edging as a guide. So you can see by the time these pavers in, there's going to be a nice strong edge. Okay, so here we go, back on the job and tapping these edge pavers in. Again, these installers are super experienced, make it look really easy, but if you slow it down a bit, if you're a DIY doing your first project, the main thing is just take a bit of extra time, make sure that concrete's sitting a little bit proud, see that, and then you've got a little bit of room to tap it in so it beds into the concrete.
Just a little bit below.
A little bit below the edge, sorry. Yep, perfect.
Compacts, it goes down the same.
Awesome.
Because the compactor will take it down.
Oh yes, cool. So what Lungy's explaining is that he's actually setting these edge pavers slightly lower by a few mils, because when we compact all of this body of the paving, then that will actually compact down to the same level as the border. That's when we put the paving sand in, the jointing sand, and then sweep that in, and then run the compactor over it. That will bed that all in and provide even more strength. So we'll show you a few more meters of this. And then using the trowel to smooth that off. Say that again, Lungy.
Anything left on the sides, you can just haunch up to give it a bit more strength.
Awesome. So you can see he's actually drawing the cement up the side of the paver a bit, and that just gives it even more strength. So there's tons of strength already from having the paver laid on that concrete bed, but then there's also that extra strength that he's creating by troweling that concrete up against the paver. And this is a garden edge obviously, but if you're doing that on a lawn edge, that's a good profile that he's done here, nice and steep and not too close to the surface, because otherwise if you let that concrete come up too high and you don't trowel it off steep enough, you'll end up with a very dry edge on your lawn, if that makes sense. The soil will dry out. So show another angle here, tapping it in.
Get a straight edge too, straighten it.
Awesome, and now he's going to pop a straight edge against the edge as well to straighten it all up. Okay, so here goes the straight edge. That's an aluminium straight edge, tapping that along the top and then tapping it along the side there. And he was just explaining that on a big long flat edge you can use a string line to lay to, but of course this is quite contoured here with a big curve and contour, so the straight edge does a great job. And then to step back and have a look, let's see how that's looking, and that is looking absolutely brilliant. Lovely stuff. We are back on the haunching, doing the second run now. You can see how it's been dug out nice and clean. I'll try and get in on this angle here, and you can see they've used the spade to dig out a nice little trench there, probably about 150 millimeters deep, and maybe a spade width wide. And once again just filling that with concrete and then following the process along.
Steep ones too is always better, obviously, to start from the bottom.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so Lungy's explaining that always on a hill like this, always start at the bottom and work your way up, rather than working from the top and working down. So that's really valuable advice as well. Another top tip, from a top installer. I'll get this on another angle. So with 2 barrows we've almost done this full stretch here. Obviously used a little bit more concrete in that first run down the bottom, and that's all good because there's going to be more pressure because it's a steeper part of the driveway, whereas there'll be less pressure, less vehicle pressure on this top edge. So we'll show a few more going in here as well. Trailing it out. And then using a paver to kind of prepare the bed. So for all you DIYers out there, this is a great way to learn. Follow these tips and study this video before you start, and then even during your job. Right, so now we're tapping the pavers in again, following the contour, following the driveway. And then trailing off that edge as you go. And as I mentioned previously, just drawing up that concrete a little bit up the side of the pavers when you trail off to give it that extra strength. Just tapping it in gently. Remember, you can use the straight edge to tap it in more if needed. So Langy, is it a good idea to tap it fully in before, like during this first run, or is it a better idea to tap it in a little bit and then tap it in further with the straight edge?
If you're confident you've got it right.
Yep. Yep.
Just as much as you can do for those who know.
Yep.
See here, you can't do much with this.
Yes. So you just got to do this by eye, so you won't use the level on that. Yep.
Well, you know you've spread it in straightish.
Yep.
With the straight edge, you know there's going to be flat.
Yep.
Not a line.
Okay. Awesome.
Another thing, Thomas, things that will clean up.
Yes.
Make sure that it's painful and set.
Yep. So don't let that dry off. Just a bucket of water and a sponge. Yep. Keep that clean as you go. Cool. Great advice. Another top tip there. So in this video we've seen how to come up over a contour like that, and also on a straight run how to use the straight edge as well. So once again, Langy makes this look super easy. I've been doing this for 20 years, but if you are a first time DIY, there's no better way to learn than from the pros. And just popping those little cuts back in there.
See, sometimes they fall out, you dig out a little.
Yep, okay. Look at that, that's fantastic. So just walking back over this edge, absolutely brilliant. We'll take a look from the bottom. Look back up the up that edge there, and it's looking amazing. So now he's going to check it with the straight edge. But as he said, obviously you can't use the straight edge on the contour, so that all has to be done by eye. There we go, ready for the next barrow load. Absolutely beautiful. Tip for a job like this, team, is to have your barrow of concrete on the grass side or off the paving so that you don't have spillages. Another top tip from Lungy. Splash! Yeah, obviously we couldn't down there because we had nowhere else to put the barrow, but once you're off an area like that, get your barrow away and work from off the paving, if that makes sense. Another top tip for you. So we're filling up this trench now, and this again will create a nice strong edge so this paving will not be able to move and will stand the test of time. So there's going to have tons of vehicle movement on it, utes and cars and little trucks and things. It's 60 mils thick. It is the Unipave 60 mil thick paver from Premier Pavers, premierpavers.nz. We'll give our team a call on 0800 22 22 98. We love helping great Kiwis to create beautiful spaces. Okay, so we're back on site and still just chipping away here at the haunching. So you can see once you've got a bit of practice, you can really crank through this. And this is one of the finishing kind of touches for the paving. Gets it all locked in so it can't move. And then, of course, like I explained earlier, after this, once this is cured, after a few days, sweep in the jointing sand and then run the plate compactor over it all to rattle the sand in and bed the pavers in, and then you're good to go, ready to drive on or walk on the patio, whatever it may be. So once again, this is our Unipave paver, 230 by 115 by 60 millimeters thick, in the ironstone colour, which is a mid-grey, and then using the ash colour for the border. This is what we call a pencil border, end on end. You can also do a side-by-side border, which you can call a soldier course or a wide border. Looking fantastic. And as I was saying before, it pays to just tidy up any concrete on a lawn area, knock it down a bit lower so that your grass doesn't dry out along the edges in the summertime. Otherwise you can end up with burnt edges all around your paving area. So if you're keen on having a nice lawn, that's really important as well. On the job now with an update. So haunching is all done, just like that. Only took probably 10-15 minutes to get all this done. So there you go. Now just got to wait for that concrete to cure, give it a few days, and then get the compacting done, the jointing sand and the compacting, and then good to go. So yeah, stoked.